The sea was finally calm. Aimee Bancroft looked up at the sky and offered a silent prayer to whichever force or deity had kept her from death. It hardly seemed possible that both she and her rowboat had survived the storm. She recalled the moment she was convinced she was going to die. The storm was at its height. She'd been strapped into her harness long enough to see 2 sunsets come and go. The wind was screaming in her ears. She was hungry, thirsty, and exhausted beyond all comprehension. And all she could do, as darkness pressed in on her, was ask God to forgive her sins and look kindly upon her loved ones. When she slipped into unconscious, it was in the firm belief that she would not wake up again, at least not in this world. All fear was gone from her, leaving only regrets. Just the right side of 30, she was full of dreams and plans. Now, none of them would be realized. She'd woken at the start of a new day into a world of calm. Despite being drenched and racked with hunger and thirst, she was full of wild elation. The world had regained its magic. Her life had meaning. Being no stranger to cheating death, she knew she was experiencing the ecstasy of rebirth. She pressed the release button on the harness that had kept her safe from the storm and freed herself from its embrace. Made from military webbing, she'd had it especially made for this voyage, in the hope that she wouldn't have to use it. When she returned to civilization, she planned to patent and market the device. Not trusting her legs to support her, Aimee crawled to the stern of her boat and sat beside her metal strongbox before opening it. She was relieved to find it still riveted in place and undamaged by the storm. Inside, along with her charts and sextant, were tins of corned beef and 2 large containers of water. With restraint and good luck, what remained of her supplies should last until she found dry land. She ran a fingertip across her lips to remove the salt that encrusted them. The taste of the sea was in her mouth. Her main problem, as she saw it, was that she had no idea where she was. When the storm had blown up, she'd been approximately 200 nautical miles from her departure point in Greenland, but there was no telling where she was now. Until she got her bearings, there was no point using the oars. For all she knew, she could be rowing in the wrong direction. The only sensible thing to do would be to conserve what little strength she had, and wait for the stars to come out to guide her. Then she could plot a new course to Newfoundland, her intended destination. Aimee looked around at the placid ocean, and wondered if it would become her grave. She wasn't afraid of dying, but she did not relish the thought of dying alone, with the world never knowing what had become of her. The few friends she had did not deserve the agony of not knowing whether she was dead or alive.